Let's see how this does. Oh, I think we're good to go. Let's see. Hit this. Gosh, I am really out of practice with this. Let me see if I have things up to the right levels. That's good. Oh boy. Gosh, it's been years. All right. So, Caves of Qud hit 1.0, and here I am after all these years. Well, better internet, better setup. I think I'm in good shape, plus a game that isn't too graphically intensive. So, I think without further ado, I just kind of wanted to share a game I adore and also to kind of go over some early game stuff. Kind of purged all of my characters for this and figured why not show the basics of what I usually go through. So, we'll hit new game, we'll hit classic. So, if we die, we die. And we are going to go to a library of builds that I already created. Now, there are lots of different ways we can go with this. Mutant, Truekin, all that other stuff. What I'm going to do here is I think one of the easiest ways to get a handle on the game is without using mutants and all those cool, crazy powers, using the Truekin and the Praetorian start in particular. They have great base stats. They come kitted with all the basics that you need, both in skills and equipment. They have cybernetics, so you can get around some early game issues, and just all in all, pretty darn sturdy. Name, we'll actually randomize that, and pet. So we do have the DLC for this, so we could choose pets, but just saying that if you had just have the bare bone basics, we're just going to go with no pet for this. Um, you can start in other cities, but I always recommend, especially for new players, just as it says here, start of Joppa. You get a few more access to resources than you wouldn't normally. Um, minor spoiler, if you do start with any of the other starting locations, Joppa is basically a burnt out wreck, and you have a couple story hook items that you can get there, but otherwise it's just another dead tile. So let's create this world and see what we get. The last time I created a world, just a few moments ago, the whole town ended up slaughtered because of the wonderful reputation system. So here we go. We got our start. We have our character down, little bottom of the screen. I'm not even sure if my cursor is actually being recorded. Um, Hopefully it is. Um, Kind of actually scanning through. And, you know, not sure it is. Let me fix that up real quick. Let's see here. Go to properties. Capture cursor. No, we do have capture cursor there. So hopefully you can see this. But anyway, Joppa. Um, let's just go down, do the run through, right? There are um, 3 different quest givers in here that you can access. There are a couple raidable piles. Yes, you can steal in this game, but you can get caught if you're not smart about it. And if you go to any other old guides, they'll suggest raiding the entire village. You cannot do that because they have inserted windows right over here. You can see I can peek into this house. So you cannot raid that house like you could in the past. For the quest givers, very first thing is this guy in yellow here, Mehmet. Go to item search for work, and I will do as you ask. Basically, there is a critter that is eating up all the water vine, and they want you to actually investigate that up in Red Rock. So that's one. Number 2 is this guy over here. He's a proselytizer. Basically, he used to be a farmer, and now he's part of the mechanimists. Um, Basically, there is a really cool city out in the middle of the desert. If you Here, you'll see at the top left a little like citadel in the middle of the desert. That is the 6-day still. So we go back down where we were. We go ask what it's about, and then say that you'll actually commit to the journey, live and drink, and you get a little odd trinket because what they ask you to do is go and sacrifice into the Great Hole technology, and this is a little bit of technology that he'd like you to scrap for him on his behalf. Maybe we'll do so. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then the other key players here is the Warden over here. And you'll notice that when I hit L and look, I'm actually doing two things. Um, the big thing here is actually looking at their reputation. There's a debug setting that won't affect your achievements. In this game, we have reputation for all the different factions in the game, and it is a huge list. And so, one quality of life feature that you can hit the debug feature on that doesn't really impact gameplay all that much is by setting it so that in these menus here, when you look at someone, you'll be able to pull up that little bit of information about where their reputation is at. The key cutoffs are 250, negative 250, and positive 250. At negative 250, things will start taking a swing at you, even if they're neutral, and vice versa when they're positive 250. So, and why that's important is that you can do what's known as the water ritual. Using 1 dram of your water, and you'll notice up here, water is currency. So if you think about this, it costs $1 to be able to do this water ritual. And anytime you actually access this is important because not only can you recruit people, you can learn skills, and that's kind of where I'm looking at here. And in Joppa, you can learn harvestry. If we go real quick into skills, notice here you have big, wide range of skills, and skill points are limited, and they are impacted by your intelligence on top of it all. You'll notice here Harvestry is a relatively cheap skill, but if you can save some skill points by just working the reputation system, then, you're actually saving a whole bunch of resources. So seeing here, they're loved by Joppa, that's great. Unfortunately, they're hated by another village, which means negative 100. And the pariahs, the dromads. Um, so let me get rid of a spam bot and merchants. Basically, if we make friends with this guy, everyone knows about it because there'll be a sworn water brother or sister or anything in between. And basically, you can you can really mess up the game for you if you're not careful about managing your reputations with different folks. Um, So there are 3 key players. One was Mehmet. The other is this Warden over here. They're disliked by mollusks, but as you can see already, we're already disliked by mollusks to a significant degree. They will start to hate us if we actually make friends with them, but given that they're also friends with Joppa, and that's the rep we're trying to get, we might actually do the water ritual with them. Unfortunately, they don't provide any skills. And then we have the village elder here, Iridad, and while they're disliked by the Merchants Guild, a dislike is a negative 50 hit. That's not too bad. Now, the only 2 people that can actually teach Harvestry here will be the Elder and Mehmet. Well, because Mehmet's hated by so many folks, what we're going to do is get a little bit of Joppa rep by doing the water ritual here. And as you see, we've already now moved to dislike with one of those factions. And then we're going to go to the Elder here and do the same thing. For one, we share the water. We've increased our rep. Now we're finally in the positive. But we've knocked down our Merchant Guild. Merchant Guild rep is pretty darn easy to get. We'll be able to get that. Sometimes we'll get, opportunities to name our stuff. Sure, we'll name it. We'll call it here, the Cursed Vest of Joppa. And so we just named our chainmail, so it looks like an artifact. That's fine. But you'll notice now we actually have an option provided to us. Actually, a couple. One is to learn the cooking dish, which cooking can provide all sorts of really cool effects if you've learned the cooking skill. But most importantly here, we're going to save some skill points by learning harvestry. That's why we kind of took a ding to our rep for other folks. The other thing I like to do is auto explore. Let basically search through everything. What you'll be able to do is view paintings or any engravings. Those are really important to look at whenever you see them on pieces of equipment because they provide secrets, which provides you places to explore in the world. So just let Auto Explorer do its thing. It will actually look at those types of things for you, including stuff like these shrines here as well. It's basically trying to explore every tile, and now it says there's nowhere else to explore. Why this is important is that if you hit backspace or corresponding key on your Steam Deck, you'll be able to see all of the major players here and who you need to talk to. One little trick, because your Auto Explorer usually ends you up at the top here, is just go up one screen and you'll notice here some vine farmers doing their thing, a small little modest cemetery, but also another shrine. We're just gonna hit auto explore so it lets it do its thing, and this shrine shows us that there is an artifact buried somewhere. We'll be able to check that later in that historical site. Now let's head back down to Joppa proper, and let's get looting. So we do start off with a randomized set of items within a certain data table. What we'll need to do from here, um, we'll have all sorts of odd little trinkets and other things. We can actually examine those. We found that it's a box of crayons. Um, but we can get a little more. The places that are safe to raid are this little hut here specifically. Usually there is something here in the glass bottle. Sometimes it's a really good liquid. Green goo, however, does not provide us with much. So that's one. There's actually, I should say, three. This is number two. Make sure to close the doors. It needs to be a completely enclosed place so people don't get angry. We can take this canteen up here, and it has 41 of 64 drams of fresh water. So all of these can hold up to 64 units or cash, basically, in here. And it is what you also need to periodically drink to survive. We also have this box over here. It's not owned by us. It's going to give us those warnings because sometimes if you do this and it's out in the open or people could hear you, you're going to get in trouble. And we see that we have a little bit of food, a torch, hand axe, and a bit of scrap which we could turn into something cool later on. I'm going to hit tab to take everything here. Sure, it goes into here. Now, one place that's often overlooked is if we go up here and zoom around, this guy's going to try to go to sleep, so he's actually going to be very annoying. So sometimes the water vine farmers will be doing their rounds. That's okay. Let's take care of other business. We already got two of the quests. There is a third, and this archive person over here in the far corner, by using our backspace menu, we talk to them. They're busy doing stuff. Well, if we talk to him enough, he's going to say, "Hey, I want some technological knickknacks." We're saying, "Fine, we can." And the cool little thing is that if you remember that little box of crayons that was given to us, technically the mission was to, hey, go to the 6-day stilt, that far off city, drop off that little trinket, to their gods. Well, you could also turn it in for the quest if you don't want to feel as pious. And um, that depends on your morality with it. Sometimes you might want to see it through. Um, you know what? I like the guy, so I already have some artifacts because of my start, and I don't mind, giving up a few of these injectors if I need to. I also have this combustion cell, but since that could also be very useful for any things I need to power until I get lots and lots of energy cells, I'm gonna keep this one. It's important. So the ones I would want to keep particularly are the salve injectors because that's basically free hit points. Hulk honey is useful in certain situations to give you tons and tons of strength, but makes you a little weaker in the process. So we'll get rid of the blaze injector, and now we've finished that quest. But he'll ask you to do it again, and that will get you your first level. So boom, we're gonna do the skulk injector. Now we've gained our level. Basically, you can always do the start, and most starts you'll have between the different areas you could raid and your starting inventory just enough artifacts to be able to complete the quest right off the bat. And if you keep talking through, there's another quest to fetch some wire. we'll cover that in a moment. So we do have our level. Now, when you're a mutant, you can upgrade one of your skills in the screen. Here, we don't have any new attribute points. Those are given very periodically, but what we have been given is a lot of skill points. And if you do start off with 18 intelligence as a Truekin, you get just enough to basically buy most of the major skills. Some of these new categories are 150, but you have enough to work with. Um, it is debatable what skill you want to start off with first. With this particular start, you're already given a lot of basic combat skills, bow and rifle, and your swords, so you're set. Some are not as lucky. But because we are set up with so many, one of the core skills I would always get at first is wayfaring. You can get lost when navigating the world map, and it also takes a lot of time through days to be able to travel, which means you consume more water and potentially go through your food. Food isn't that much of an issue in this game, but it does mean your bus will wear out faster. So we will take up wayfaring there. And actually, for an end goal, eventually what we want is our intelligence to tick up to 19, and it will after a handful of levels. All the stats will go up by one. It takes a little while to get there, but once we do, we'll be able to learn about the salt dunes and the jungles, and by doing those, we will hardly ever get lost in those areas, and we will find really, really cool places to explore. They're vital in making those long trips through. And if you go up to the world map, you'll notice here we have a ton of sand dunes, and we have a ton of jungle. So, again, really useful skills. Um, we're ready to go, actually. So that is my usual Joppa start. Just kind of run through the battery. Let's do just a quick scan through. What you can do is very first thing to do is grab those two quick quests from the folks in the center. The reason I say you want to do those fast is sometimes there might be an issue with starting reputation for some of these characters, and sometimes you will get this big boss character here coming down and lopping off the heads of others. So grabbing the one from this yellow person here, and then that little priest guy who is trying to run away, get those quests first. Usually the mechanic will never get blown apart, so you're fine there. Next, you want to raid all of the little equipment caches. There are three to check. Two primary, which is here, that will have some items. And actually, we never did check this one here. Ah, they're still sleeping. We can always check it later, but it's not that important. And then finally, you might be able to get the harvestry skill. So make sure you look at the folks, see if there are factions that you don't mind, um, being hated or disliked by. Be very careful with hated. You never want to burn too many bridges with folks. Um, you it can really help out in the future, and that's something that you'll learn by experience. Basically, the nice little way to balance it out is when you do a water ritual and they're loved by a faction, that will get you roughly 100 or so, or like 50 or so reputation, and then gives you the option to be able to tell them secrets that they like to hear for an extra 50 each, up to 100. Well, you need to balance that out by how much rep you'll be losing elsewhere. So in this one, I would lose 100 rep because they're hated by three different factions. So plus 50 for negative 300, not worth making a friend. So now, a couple other early game tips here, depending on how good your character is at fighting for the start. Um, there are the different quest areas, which are actually coincidentally in red nearby, so they pop out very well. The wire quest, if you go to the east a little bit, you'll see three little rust wells. That's where wire is. That's usually pretty frustrating to deal with, but we'll get to that later. And then up 2 units is red rock. Personally, I think they kind of rearranged these quests in a way that it could actually kill a new character. There are two really cool things to explore in the salt marshes where you start off here in Joppa. If you look all the way around on these tiles, these are salt marshes, right? Basically anything that aren't these little hills or mountains. Um, Within here, somewhere, in the center of each, in two of these different tiles, there is, if you actually talked it out and actually read through the quest, you'll learn that this mechanic guy who is probably going to kill someone. And you can see the reputation in action. Um, in any case, that poor little quest giver is going to die soon, but that's okay. We're not going to get into this fight. But his apprentice basically flattened himself after an experiment, and that apprentice is somewhere in the salt marshes. So if you go up into a salt marsh area, each one of these are called parasang. There are basically a little area of 9 interconnected cells. If you go down into any given cell, this is the center of that parasang. So each one of these, if you just travel in the overworld and then drop down by pressing the equivalent down key for here, it's plus. Um, on the numpad, we are now in the center parasang. So if we go down one, that's still in that one little cell on the big map here. We are just now down one. You'll see our current location is south. Well, in the center tile for each one of these, there's the potential for what you can see as the flattened remains of the apprentice. And there's one other. You'll notice these little floaty folks here. These are glow pads. They're basically more or less a flower, more or less, but they can actually do a fair bit of damage. As you can notice here, they can bite. Um, but there's one that looks a little different, and that's because they're actually a sentient glow pad that is a secret vendor. So typically, if you let the auto explorer do its thing and then you hit backspace, you'll see that a point of interest will pop up. And what we're looking for are two things: an oddly hued glow pad or flattened remains. We don't see any here, so we can consider this cell checked. So if we go back up to the world map, we can now move to the next salt marsh and go back in. Why this is actually, a neat thing to do, as you can see here, now we see some slime. And here, what we will typically see in salt marshes are a few things. We'll see crocodiles. Those are the things that you can try to fight. Um, they can be pretty damaging, so be careful. But otherwise, you can take them. What I'd be very careful about are these slimes. They can hit like a truck without you knowing it. Now, we are in a defensive stance naturally because we have some combat skills. So what I'm going to do here is shield slam the slime, and our shield has buffeted a lot of the damage. And then we're going to start swinging away by just bumping into them, and they died. We lost 3 hit points by hitting the Grav key next to the left of number 1. We can heal ourselves back up to full, provided that there are no one around. Basically, time will pass, and you can naturally heal. We'll continue our auto exploration, and we let the computer do its thing. There is a setting in the settings where you can increase the auto explorer speed. I definitely recommend doing that. Now you'll see we found another slime. We also have an ability here from the start. We have the bow and rifle skill. And really cool thing about doing the Praetorian start here is not only do we get a really good steel level equipment, which is like 2 tiers up. It goes bronze, iron, steel, and then on. We already have steel equipment, which is ridiculous for this level. But we also get a rare rifle that isn't a musket, that's a single shot. This has 6 shots. So what we can do is spend a turn marking this target, which will increase our accuracy because we have some space. So now we've marked it, it has moved closer, but now we have a higher chance of hitting. So I'm gonna line up my gun by hitting back, whoops, wrong one, F for the fire key, and I'm gonna hit it again to shoot. And now we shot it for 9. We could shoot it again, but in close range, your shots, and the more things around you, your shots get a little more erratic. So what I'm going to do here, because my shield slam is off cooldown, I'm going to slam with my shield, and then I'm going to start swinging again. And it's dead. We're now hungry, but the first thing I'm going to do is heal up. Hopefully there isn't another slime in the area. Okay, we're good. And then what we can do for most characters, they'll already have the make camp skill. You'll see number 2 here. You technically have infinite food, but you need to be in a safe space with no people around. And also you do need a dry spot. You can't just make a campfire in the middle of a big pool of water or slime. But if we hit make camp, and we can just do this to the east, There we go. We've made a little campfire. You can see it, a little smoke trailing off of it. I love the graphics in this. And then if we interact with it with the space key, and we'll say to the right, we can whip up a meal. Basically, this uses little bits of basically nothing to make your food. Eventually, though, you'll be able to learn skills to cook, which will give you some long-term effects, and you'll be able to preserve those foods that you find. Right now, we're just going to whip up the meal. And then we'll let Auto Explorer do its thing. And sure enough, our Auto Explorer found those flattened remains. I swear I did not set this up. This is fantastic. That means we have found. Whoa. We have found the flattened guy. And what we can do is now hit backspace now that we've completed our Auto Explorer. Select the flattened remains, and we'll automatically zoom right over to it. And you'll notice here that there's, while we did auto pick up some technological stuff, there is some other equipment on this guy, including 100 feet of the wire that we're supposed to find for uh, the mechanic and the tinker. And the funny thing about that is what you can kind of construe from this is that this apprentice basically was also sent out on that same quest to gather the wire, and he happened to die in the process. We're going to hit G for get, and we're basically taking everything but the corpse itself. Many corpses are extremely heavy, and they're worth very little. So we will get the gloves. That will be increased to our armor. We'll get the sandals because we can always sell it. We'll get the steel battle axe and the strands of wire, 100 feet of it. If we go into here, our areas, we'll also see that we have picked up some strange tubes. We don't know what these are, and they're broken. Maybe we can find someone that can help fix that for us. Or we could fix it ourselves if we were smart enough, but we don't have those skills yet. Scanning through, seeing what else that we have. Remember that we got those gloves. Well, let's put them on. You'll notice that here we have the little blue diamonds, that stands for armor. We have the little black circle, that stands for dodge value. In this case, it'll give you 1 armor value and 0 dodge value. You'll notice up here we can see our current armor values and dodge values here. This character starts with a ridiculous 4 armor value and 8 dodge. Typically, to get out of the early game, you want this up to 6 armor value, even if it means sacrificing some dodge value. And a lot of the heavy armor will often have negative modifiers to dodge because they're heavy and unwieldy. And you'll find a lot of them to be a lot more. The typical armors you can find at this point in the game before these chainmails you will see are usually at best 3 -2 for like studded leather armor. Or same thing for the gloves, the best you can find at 2 armor value, it has a -3 dodge penalty for steel gauntlets. That's pretty rough. But you'll notice, we now can see up here we're at 5 armor value, we're almost to the target value. And the neat thing about shields, they don't give you the armor value stated base, but every time you block, it's then added. So we've already lost 2, and this happens just period, our dodge value, but because we're carrying this heavy shield. But if we ever block with the shield and it's successful, our armor value is effectively 8, which is absolutely insane. So we can go back up here, and what I like about the salt marshes is typically there are battles that you can win. A nice way to get some easy experience, for mutants to be able to get some more mutations, for truekin to be able to just build yourself up and the skills that you need to tackle on later parts of the game. Go to the next part of the salt marsh and you methodically go through each one of them. You do not have to. But sometimes, as you can see here, what happened? Well, sometimes you can find some really cool places of historic significance or even towns. And when you do so, you're granted experience for exploring. I love this game. You can get resources for all sorts of things, including just checking out this gigantic, massive map. So, notice here it also gave us an attribute point. That's huge. So, yep, sure enough, we found another town pretty close by. Typically in the salt marshes, you will find there, or not will find, but there's typically at least 1 village in there. We can hit auto explore just like we did in Joppa and the other maps to just zoom through everywhere. You might get hungry in the process. It is going to take a while. You can see a history build as the map is unfolded. This thing is ravaged to heck and back. We can also learn some bits about the different the settlement itself. Usually there are two particular pieces of areas of interest that will give you a little bit of the story of the village. So that's number one, and here's number two. So it looks like not only this place got ravaged, there's a huge graveyard. It is a disjointed mess of I I wouldn't even say much anymore. We do have actually a lot of inhabitants here. Funny enough, one of the wardens, the guardian of the place, is a sentient turd apparently. Um, and we see this workbench of the Divine Wanderer. It's interesting that this is here. What this kind of indicates to me is that there might be a quest related to this. We will also have folks that will be able to see if they have faction effects if we either kill or treat them with a water ritual. And we also will have in a given settlement one quest giver. Way we can do all of this though, and I think the first thing is I'm going to get hungry pretty soon, so I'm going to go to the clay oven, and that's where you can discover the local meal of the area. In this case, mussels on top of hearty mussels. So if you like mussels, eat this dish. What it does, we have no clue. Sometimes they can give you random mutations or all sorts of other things. We're going to eat it. Let's see what it does. Gives us max hit points. So we go from 30 to 34. That's fantastic. Um, if we happen to learn the secret recipe of the village, not only will we'll get a new recipe once we learn how to cook, and we'll be able to use that recipe if provided we have the ingredients to get that same effect. Um, let's go to the elder here, the fish mayor. We will first look, and sure enough, they're loved by both fish and the villagers. You'll notice fish is at negative 400. That is a faction you definitely want to get up. There are some nasty things swimming in the water that if they're just neutral to you, you will have a much easier time. And they're also admired by the villagers of Ezra. I like that. All of it positive. They're not hated by anyone. And also take the time to read these. It's really cool about the descriptions that they have and also why they are liked and disliked. You'll find some funny stories. So like this one, this fish basically gave a good horoscope reading to someone over in Ezra, and now they're well liked and admired by them. So we're going to talk to them. And you'll notice here, not only can we do the water ritual, they might have something to trade. Often they don't, especially if they're kind of animals and not people. Um, and then also we can ask if there's work. Sure enough, this isn't the quest giver, but they'll tell you who is. So in this case, it says find Yairun to the east. Well, if you hit backspace, because you've done the auto explorer, you'll be able to just go to them in a hurry. But first, before I forget, we're gonna do that water ritual. Sure enough, we get to bump up our rep. And now fish has gone up 100 to negative 300. Again, we started at negative 400. So all we need is to bump fish rep by like basically another 51, and they'll be neutral to us. That's fantastic. And then now the villagers of Ezra are getting to 100. They're almost favorable. This is great because if I happen to go to Ezra and I happen to entreat with the water ritual to someone, I would be able to use this reputation to maybe learn the local dish, maybe to learn a skill. Sometimes the skills, Harvestry was only 50, but some of them cost up to 300 reputation to learn. So it's always good to make friends. All right, see? So not only could I learn swimming, but I could also, um, learn that mussels recipe. Here's the thing, though, why you don't want to do it right off the bat. This eats into the reputation that you have. Now, thankfully, if you read very carefully just above this selection, you'll see the reputation of the villagers is 100. So this village specifically, even though we got extra fish rep, we're not going to lose fish rep if we take them up on one of these options. So what I'm going to do, because I don't really need this cooking recipe, I could just do that by just cooking up, a piece of meat, honestly. But even though swimming is not a vital skill, I would never actually buy this skill on my own. There is nothing else for these villagers I really need to buy from village rep, so I'm going to learn swimming. Now we go back down to 0, but 0 is not bad. 0 just means neutral. As long as we don't get to negative 250, we're in good shape. We're not going to be an immediate pariah and slaughtered. So now we learn swimming. So now when we go through water tiles, we eat up much less, just fewer action points. Now, you did say that we should go to someone else. One thing I'm going to do is go to this other legendary glowfish. They aren't the quest giver, but maybe they're also another faction person. So we look over to them, hit L, and then we'll go over to them. It doesn't. That's fine. And then finally, we're going to go over. Usually, the wardens you can't actually talk to. Um, they'll just give you an option to trade, but you can't make friends with them. That's fine. There are special wardens in the world that you can. We're going to go to legendary glowfish here. We're going to look at them. They don't give any faction. That's fine. And we'll talk to them. I'm going to look for work. And here we go. I need you to go to the asteroid So probably some ruins somewhere, and put something in the dresser there. So it doesn't say we have to put in anything specific. We could just put in a piece of scrap. Fine. It's basically go to a place, do a thing. No problem, except quest. And then if we go back up to the big map, we'll see that there is a purple Parthenon-looking little temple up here. Oh, no, that's actually the one from the statue where something cool is buried. So what we're looking for are these little ticks here. So that's where the flattened remains are. This is where the town is. So somewhere on this map, and I don't know where, is the actual quest area. So, oh, and I actually see it. It's actually in these flower fields over here, the asteroid But if you cannot, that's okay. All you need to do is pop up to your map, go to your journal, and we'll actually see the different sites. If you remember the name, all you need to do is hit enter, and then if you remove, you'll now see the requisite parasang here glowing for you. And you can actually tag as many of those as you want at a given time. So if we go back and tag multiple areas, so like for instance, we go to the journal here. Let's say I want to know where all the cool points of interest are. We've already seen the flattened remains, so we don't need to select that. And we know about the village because that's exactly where we are. So we hit escape. Now we see where all the cool points of interest we've learned are. So one really close by, which is great. There's an artifact buried in there. There is our location for the quest, but all the way to the right over here, very, very far away, is the other quest or the other uh, artifact area. There is no way we are getting to this anytime soon, so we can basically unhighlight this. The basic rule of thumb is from Joppa, the further you go from Joppa, the harder things get, with little caveats. In general, the biomes, the different areas here of things, so salt marshes, canyons, hills, jungle, each of these phases not only have a unique set of creatures and features, but it also varies in the difficulty. So you compound the two. What type of region am I in? That can make it harder. And then on top of that, am I even further away from my starting area? Oh no, things are going to get harder. So that's the basic, rules of thumb for navigation in this world. I'm going to unmark these. I can use my mouse to do these. So we have some guidance on where to go, but as you notice, they're farther away from where our starting quests are. I don't feel comfortable going there yet. Let's see if we can't kill a few things. We only just got to level 3. In fact, to the point we didn't even spend the skill points yet. We don't have that extra intelligence point, so we can't get like salt dunes or the jungles yet. We're keeping an eye on that. And as you learn the game, you'll be able to find places so that sometimes you'll know where to go to be able to buy skills through reputation. That doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get them, because again, sometimes the people you would want a water ritual with might be very hated from one game to another. All the faction reputation jumbles up every game, so it makes it really unique on how you have to tackle the world. So What can we do with 100 points that would be very useful in the near term? We're looking for survivability versus trying to explore further anyway. So what can we do to increase survival? I would always say if you at 17 agility, always pick up acrobatics as one of the first things because you will eventually encounter really close by things that shoot things like arrows or seeds or something. What acrobatics and the very first level, you notice this 0 skill points because it comes free for buying the category. We'll do this. Notice here Swift Reflexes now has no requisites because we've now purchased it by purchasing the category. We get a +5 dodge value bonus whenever we're trying to dodge missiles. So you notice here our dodge value is at 8. It's a whopping 13 dodge we get if something shoots at us. That's going to save your bacon because one of the nastiest things that you will find in the area that will kill you is these pigs called slug snouts because they fire literal lead slugs at you that can just tear, well, technically a rock, but they will tear through a person and just murder your game really, really fast. By getting acrobatics, it usually will buy you a little time and maybe one key dodge so you can either run away or get that kill. So, great use of 75 points. Now, we haven't found that glow pad, and I want to do that. So I'm going to. Oop. And sure enough, when you auto explore, if there is something dangerous next to you, it will actually show up and give you a message on the right. It will highlight it. So we have this crocodile. But we can take this. We'll just do our basic process. They're too close for us to really engage in range combat, so what we'll do is shield slam it. Great, took damage from it. Sometimes it can stun it, and then we're going to attack, attack, attack. Dead. Perfect. Again, a lot easier for the Praetorian to do. And you'll notice, because we got that harvesting skill, you'll now see in the sea of messages, not only do we go buy some of these plants, some of them are harvestable. So we're actually gathering food, even though we can't cook it yet. So that's pretty darn useful. Now we hit backspace. We don't see the oddly hued glow pad. We go back up and we search. And the other cool thing about doing this, as tedious as this seems, and yes, sometimes mobs can fight each other, as tedious as this seems, the really cool thing about this is that sometimes you'll luck into finding, like we did, another settlement. Sometimes you'll find ruins and other things. So yes, it is a little exhausting to go through every tile, and no, you do not need to do this for basically the rest of the map. This is just a way to give you a little guidance in the early game if you don't feel strong enough to go and tackle the main story quest right off the bat. Now, notice here it's trying to build a zone when I try to move to another cell. Now we've gotten lost. So that's the risk we run. Don't panic. Whenever you get into a new area, you get basically one turn grace before anything that's hostile to you will aggro on you. And you're always put at the very bottom of a screen. So you can, 9 times out of the 10, unless you're searching the bottom of the map, you'll be able to go down to get away from immediate danger. Now, sometimes you'll walk into even greater danger, but it can help. So in this case, we actually found some ruins. So we got lost. Oh, and here, look at this. Ruins with becoming nooks. For mutants, this isn't too important. It's basically free money. For true kin, which we are, this is huge, because in becoming nooks, there is a chance that old world cybernetics are buried here, and that can give us access to cool powers later. In fact, we already have one right now, which is the optical techno scanner. If we hit Control Tab here, we have this here. And oh, right. Sorry, no, we don't. We actually have night vision, so we haven't been having to use any torches. I almost forgot. I usually go with the optical techno scanner to be able to look at all sorts of technological things right off the bat and find out what they are naturally. Oops, I accidentally broke an item. I'll deal with that later. Um, but because now we have night vision, notice here, when you hit Control Tab, we actually start with 14 torches, but I'm allowed to just have my sword and shield right off the bat. Otherwise, if I was adventuring at night or underground, I'd be forced to actually remove my shield, really weakening me to hold a torch until I get a source of light that I can strap to my head or that can be floating nearby. We will auto-explore. We'll open chest naturally. Go ahead and hit tab to gather everything that you want. We'll auto look at any relevant stuff, but now you'll notice here we found some weird artifacts. In a cybernetics rack, these are cybernetics. Not only are they worth a ton of money, but you can also, for a Truekin, install them in these areas. Unfortunately, they require license points. So if we access one of these nooks, we'll get this menu for a Truekin. And let's say we want to install stuff. Well, we have no implants available. Well, we can fix that. We can try to search some of these artifacts. There we go. We have a skill soft, phase harmonic modulator, hydro jets to move faster in water, and equipment rack. This is huge. But you'll notice here there are license points, and basically we have a finite amount of access to install stuff on our body, and we only start off with a bare minimum. We go to the Nook, we can actually see at the bottom. License tier 2, of those 2 points have been used. We have no credits to then turn into license points. We can upgrade our license if we had credits, but we don't have those. We can find them in the world. We can find them for sale by random folks that don't know what those things really do, but they'll still charge a high price for them. Sometimes you will find them in just exploring. You are guaranteed to find some cybernetic credits regardless of you being a mutant or Truekin in certain story areas as well. So it's not fully gated away through RNG, but it fairly is. Basically, the more you explore, the more you live through the world, you will find these credits and use them. Unfortunately, we don't have it right now, and basically our night vision implant is eating up all of those credits, so I can't install anything even if I wanted to. So if we go to install, it'll say how many license points each of these need. You can also look at them to get that information, also in what they do. Equipment rack is really cool because it gives you a second back slot. Well, that's important is that, like, let's say you got a set of powered wings. Well, now you can still wear back armor with it, or all sorts of cool stuff. Phase harmonic modulator, they'll help you get through dealing with phased folks. Unfortunately, that also means phased things can hurt you. So it's not that great. Mind's Compass is that wayfaring skill that I bought, so if I installed it in my head, I could get access to that skill as if I bought it, but this is a very bad skill soft to get. In general, I don't like skill softs. But if you have nothing else to put in there for now, it's good to put in. But the one thing to note about skill sauce is that if you rip them out, they then get destroyed, so you can't resell them later. Most of these other ones you can take away. And then the hydrojets, again, can make you move faster in water. So we've searched through all of this, so this was a good find, but we're still lost. The way you can resolve getting lost is to talk to someone that is an actual person, not like an animal. A legendary should be eligible to talk to. The other way is just by exploring adjacent cells. So, one thing I like to do, because you also get, again, that one turn grace by going into a new screen of things not immediately killing you, is to go into like one of these corners, and then we can hit down, and I can see immediately here there's nothing too angry, but we also did not become we didn't regain our bearings to become not lost. So that means we need to explore yet another screen. Well, because we're in this little corner part, we can explore 4 screens in very short order, right? So now we can go left. Don't see anything too mean or angry, so that's good. So we could explore it if we wanted to, but now what we're going to do is go up. And see, sure enough, by exploring 3 different map screens, we've now regained our bearings, which allows us to then hit the up key or minus key to allow us to go back to the map and continue our journey. You can still go back to where you have been. If you hit go down again, it'll actually show you where you actually are finally. So those ruins that we found were in the northeast of this cell, and our wandering around eventually put us on the top part of that 9-cell grid. But again, we have not found the... If we go to center here, we have searched this space before. We have not yet found that little secret vendor. And I want to do that. So this found us a crocodile, which is trying to get on the bad side of a bunch of dragonflies, which will kill it, actually. Yep, sure enough, it killed them. So there goes my experience. But that's okay. Wasn't a lot of experience. So we'll be searching around. It's going to gather water vine. I actually almost forgot, hit backspace just to make sure that one of those glow pads that you see there isn't the oddly hued one. And we continue. We got lost again. That's going to happen at first. So again, I'm looking over at the map. I don't see immediate threats or anything too crazy, so I don't mind actually moving on this map rather than immediately pressing down. I'm swimming right now and going through here. Now I'm trying to find a little bit of dry land so I don't eat up a bunch of turns. And then again, I'm going to go to a corner of the screen, and I'm going to do the same process. We'll go down. Nothing too crazy here, but I don't really see anything I want to explore. We'll go left, and we've found our bearings again. Typically, you can find it in a few. Sometimes you'll need to go through more. So what you can do, so that you don't go, so you can search more screens, is go to the opposite corner of the screen that you're in after you've done your third search. So you're basically doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Then move to the opposite corner of the map, and then you can repeat that process again. Within 2 runs of that, you should be able to become not lost. And so again, I'm going to go up. This is the cell I ended up at. I think we've been through this one before. Yep, sure enough, we have. So we're going to go left, as we tried to do before. Hit auto explore. There was a crocodile all the way to the west. It might get killed. Nope, it killed a fish. It's still there, killing fish, and I killed it. We're going to hit auto explore again so we can finish doing our work. We do see a little glow pad there. Is it the oddly hued one? It isn't. So we're going to go back, and we keep searching. This area is where the tutorial is, actually. Funny enough, there is the crocodile who is coming to kill me. That's fine. Now, I could shoot the rifle, but because my skill and my agility aren't super high, I don't want to do this because my stray shot might actually hit one of these folks. And even though it might not permanently mess up my reputation, if you hit something on the screen, anything related to it will be pretty pissed that you shot it. So you need to be very careful about friendly fire. So instead, I'm just going to let the crocodile come to me, I'm going to smack it with the shield, and I'm going to kill it. Meanwhile, I just noticed that I was hungry at the top of the screen, so I'm going to make a camp, fire, I'm going to make a little meal, and I'm going to move on. Oh, right, we didn't finish doing the whole search. Typically, in this particular cell, you don't usually find that glow pad. That's fine. We're still going to do it to be thorough. So what we can do is do basically a winding road through the salt marshes until we find it. Sometimes, much like the flattened remains, you'll find it right away, right off the bat. Sometimes it'll be the very last parasang that you search. Shield slam. Hit. Dead. We don't need a heal, so we'll just auto-explore. I see some slime. That indicates to me we might find, sure enough, a slime. We are decently far away enough, so I'm going to mark the target, and then I'm going to shoot. I do have some slugs left, so 1, 2. Already knocked off a good deal of health. You can see it's badly wounded in the dead center at the bottom. So all I need to do is do, say, 1 shield slam. Boom. Dead. And actually, I am curious how many bullets I have. So I have 3 in the magazine and 24 left. That's not a lot. I'm going to reload real quick using R. So I need to be very careful about the shots that I use. Still, against slimes and being level 3, it's worth using the ammo to make the battle shorter. It's all about trading resources. So here we go, wandering through, we find another slime. I'm again gonna mark the target, let it come a little closer. I am willing to spend 2 bullets on this. 1, good, 2, killed it. 26. You'll notice that there's a multiplier. That stands for penetrations. So basically, all the attacks have some measure of penetration value. And basically, if you do get a penetration roll, which is basically the penetration exceeds armor, you get a whole other damage roll. So in this case, these bullets here, notice here, this is 1d8 for the lead slugs that are shot. Plus these lead slugs themselves have 1d2. So that means every bullet that hits can basically do anywhere from 2 to 10 damage. But you'll notice here we have a penetration value of 9, and these bullets themselves actually have 4. These don't combine. It'll take the higher of the two, depending on the mechanism firing it. So in this case, these bullets are being shot out and turning into a penetration level of 9. Basically, these were like, if you tossed it, it would be like a penetration value of 4. Basically, really dinky. So basically, if we have like a 9 penetration, but that goo had a armor value of 5, that means we were able to get successfully rolled, because again, it's a roll for these penetrations as well. I managed to get 4 successes, so that means I got to get that 2 to 10 each and every time. In this case, through the averages, basically that's on average 5 damage a shot, maybe 5.5. Sure enough, I hit all those. You can also see here, this one basically is like a glancing blow, barely penetrated. So that's 2 for 5 damage. Alright, there's all sorts of math behind it all, but you can use basic general common sense as you play the game to be able to kind of get an idea of how the world works. Hit backspace, no points of interest, we continue, and we go. Now, that said, I don't need that particular secret vendor right now. I actually don't have a lot of resources to sell. So, what I'm going to do is stop my search here, remember the tile that I'm in. You can also go in here to your journal, hit insert, whoops, not delete. We do not want to delete the entry. And we can say here, last area searched. And now, if we actually hover over that tile using L for look, and let's get out of that cell. Whoops. I actually didn't save it. Journal. Oh, actually, I do have it here. But it doesn't show up as a note. But if I hit this to highlight it and move, now that's okay. Good. Our note is here now. L, we go here, last area searched. I'm going to take that off so it doesn't keep glowing at me. And I'm going to move on with the quest. So having done all this, we can find the guy later. Maybe we can get a whole bunch of loot and then go searching for it later. We will go back up. We have plenty of water, so I don't feel the need to go back to town and sell what little I've found so far. I'm going to actually continue my quest. I think we'll try, knowing how hard some of this is, but not others. Just realized I'm actually low on bullets. So what I'm going to do is go down into the village. And if you basically enough days go by, you'll see on the bottom right here that some of the merchants have restocked their inventory. I'm going to hit backspace to go to the trader. We actually didn't do this at the start because I didn't need to buy anything. But in talking to them, and I should have done this at the start too, because then we could have gotten one full refresh already, but they have bullets. Not a lot of them, so 27, and they have a lot more arrows. This is typically the case. Sometimes actually having a bow, even if you just pull it off a dead body, is actually very useful. There are things that can break or rust your equipment, and you want to deal with them as much as possible at range. So just shooting a whole bunch of cheap arrows at it is just as good as anything else, and extreme and much better than actually swinging away at melee, where it could actually rust your equipment. The other thing you want to do in a vendor's area is look for any painted or engraved items. Unfortunately, we don't find this. We do see a ridiculously good shield, which they normally never carry equipment of this. So sometimes they get rare rolls, depending on their tier, and sometimes they could have a stray really cool item. But nothing we really want. And here, we really don't need any money, so I don't really feel like even selling any of this stuff right now. I do want some bandages in case I start to bleed, but I always like to shoot for, unless I'm amphibious, I always like to shoot for maybe roughly 70 to 80 water, unless I'm going to do a very long journey. So until I get that point, if I'm going to just cough up, if we hit O for the trade, 10 grams of water, I am perfectly fine with that. I go down to 109. I still have plenty of water for my journey. And now I have more bullets. I have 46, so I feel a little better. And we can go back on our journey. So we go up. And sure enough, get our first bit of experience for actually going to this place. And notice whenever we travel in the overworld for a significant distance, we get hungry. So one of the most immediate things I do if I see that there's nothing that can hurt me is make a campfire, eat a meal, and that way you don't have to worry about getting starving at some point during a battle. Search around, hit backspace, we'll have the campfire and the stairs down. It's a nice little easy way to just go there rather than have to actually hit all the keys to work my way back around that little canyon there. By just hitting backspace and the item you want, boom, you can easily navigate. This game is fantastic in its construction. Absolutely wonderful. Let me just double check here what I got going. All right, I think we're good to go. Let's go down. So now we're getting into Red Rock. We're finally going into the underground. Now remember, I have night vision, which helps me out so much. I am not lighting torches, so I'm a lot burlier here. Auto Explorer does get a little funky around plants because they are hostile and because they can do damage. Even if they're in a little corner like this, not able to mess with anyone unless I'm in that corner cell next to it, it will throw off my Auto Explorer. So sometimes you'll have to take over manually in doing so, or move further away enough from it so that the Auto Explorer prioritizes moving forward than having to try to search that little area it can't get to because it doesn't want to step into that dangerous tile. So I hit it auto search again. Sure enough, we actually found another chainmail, which is great. Typically, what I do here in the very early game, I will only well, first off, I tend to only get weapons. Armor for the weight that they take usually isn't worth hauling all the way back to a vendor to sell. With some rare exceptions of some rare armors, these things are super heavy. These are 10 pounds, 35 pounds for the chainmail. And you'll see here at the top how many pounds we can carry at any given time. Now, we're a strong character. We're basically like Space Marine level, like genetic. And so we can carry a ton. We are also wearing very heavy armor, but that also means I don't want to waste the space. I typically will take almost every weapon I can see, minus like a staff, which is basically a stick, right? Or a wrench, right? If anything that's actually crafted as a weapon, I will tend to take. However, at a point where I need to then make some sacrifices, I will then take out the lowest tier stuff first, right? So you typically goes bronze, iron, steel for the starters. There's more past that, but in this early game, those are the ones you'll encounter. So let's say I pile up with stuff, I have tons of weapons to be able to sell, and then I'm overburdened. I'm way, like I want more stuff, but it's heavy. Then I'll just go to my bronze stuff. I try to find my heaviest stuff and offload them. Another nice rule of thumb is don't bother with two-handed equipment. Unless it is some cybernet or some like tinkering thing that you can break down or whatever. Typically, two-handed stuff for the weight to what amount of cash that the same amount of weight and smaller one-handed weapons can get you, they don't equate. So what you're looking for is one-handed weapons to take, and other miscellaneous items, and just move on. Now, while ranged weapons are great, they are not as great when you're in a tight corridor and a little further down it. Unfortunately, the guns will often hit the immediate tile to the corner next to it and not the actual thing, so sometimes you will need to chance it. If you're a melee character and you've been spending your points, and have access to the charge skill in tactics, it will require raw 50 points plus 150, so that's a lot early game. I don't have nearly that many points. A few rare classes start with it, but this one doesn't. Sometimes, if you're in visible range within about three cells, you can charge it and kill it. Oftentimes, before it gets a swing back at you to potentially rust your equipment. But we're going to just charge in and kill it. Not worth wasting ammo, my rare ammo at the moment. Eventually we'll get thousands of bullets. We don't have that right now. So we're going to continue auto-exploring. We've seen a goo way down at the end of the hall. Again, with like the way range works, this bat is actually neutral. Okay, so we don't need to worry about hurting it. And sometimes these little guys will actually kill plants and like other annoyances. So making friends or even just being neutral with different groups of creatures is highly beneficial. We're going to close the distance a little bit till we get into the corridor proper a little bit. That way our shots could actually get through easier down the hall. And we're going to, again, mark the target, fire 2 shots, 1, 2, kills it. It does leave the goo. It is gunking up the passageway. It is annoying, but unless it's a dangerous thing, usually basically other colored slimes are dangerous. Lava, obviously, because you don't want to just incinerate yourself, and some other things that could get you potentially diseases and other things. Obviously, you don't want to run into a pool of acid. Otherwise, you're going to get dirty. So go ahead and auto-explore and just search and just tear right on through. A really bad angle on this guy again, so we're going to move forward, and then we're going to swing. We did get hurt on that. They actually do hurt in the beginning of the game, even with our armor. We're going to heal back up after every single one. Continue auto-explore. Now we don't have any other place to explore. If you hit the plus sign, it'll help you find the nearest way down. We slipped. That's the only reason this failed. Boom. Now we're actually on the stairs down. I love this game again in navigation. So down we go. All right, new map. Now we're seeing some water here. So now as we go deeper and deeper into the planet, things get a little wonkier. So let's do the auto search. Another plant. We can just move on from that. And now we have a few others. That's a problem. So unfortunately, even if we try to shoot this diagonal, because that little pinpoint to hit is so small, a gunshot easily misses where a melee swing will easily hit. I don't get why. But we can take the angle on this. So if we go down, we do have to face another one in another bad angle. But watch what we do here. We're going to go forward. We'll actually engage it and kill it. Fine. But now with this angle, if we hit F to fire, we have a much better angle that we can hit the flat of this tile rather than a corner. And sure enough, one shot, boom, we kill it. So again, playing the angles, learning how the game goes, and how it deals with kind of finicky things like this will do you a lot of good. Let's auto-explore. Now, remember what I said about that acrobatic skill? These are the first things that you encounter that shoots stuff. Well, maybe second thing that will shoot stuff at you. Sometimes if you go to the rust wells right away, you'll find baboons that chuck rocks. Sometimes during your explorations of the salt marshes, you'll run into snapjaws, like little kobolds, and some of them are developed enough to actually have bows and arrows. But now, why this is important is that we have that extra dodge value so we can close the distance. However, I'm not going to be a mad person and just charge straight in the open at it. Again, play the angles. So what I'm going to do is hop over this waterway, get closer in here. It doesn't always mean if you can't see it, it can't see you. But in terms of line of fire, it can be that way. So now what we're going to do is go up to close. It did try to shoot, but remember what I said about those angles? It hit the corner of the rock. So again, we're going to play that and go diagonal, go up against this. Now we have a decision. Do we want to flank it from the right? Well, we don't know quite what's there, or we go left. Well, notice that there's a bat there. It's neutral to us. If we actually move into that cell, we'll just exchange places. And the cool thing is, enemies can actually aggro each other. So if we go behind that bat, even if that plant hates us so much that it'll shoot at it, because it will shot at the bat, and let's say it doesn't kill it, it'll be angry and try to attack it. So it can basically be a meat shield. Let's go up. Sure enough, the poor bat died for our sins, but that also means a shot that we did not take, so we can close. And because it just moved. Thank you, bat. I'm glad you're alive. But now I think it's aggroed it, so it's going to be angry and attack with us. So I'm going to swing. And there we go. Got us whopping 25 XP, not much, but it was enough to get us our next level. Perfect. And notice the little bat is actually helping out. And if you actually see, let's say, a helpful mob actually try to get some damage in, just pass time by pressing the number 5. Unless you're doing a speed run, most things aren't time sensitive, so you can just spend your time letting time pass and letting nature take its course. So that little bat cleared out the vines for us. Perfect. And that one, we were going to need to use a bullet. We didn't have to. Perfect. Let's check out our skills again. Alright, the reason I haven't gotten cooking and gathering yet is that I do know that I can buy this elsewhere. It might not be a sure thing, but it can. So what do I want to do next? I haven't gotten to that extra one, and I don't feel like putting my attribute point in quite yet. If I'm going to go heavy tinkering, I want to keep pumping up my intelligence up to obscene levels. And I would need to do so because Tinker level 3 requires a ton. Honestly, in this game, Tinker level 2 is what you need for the majority of the game. Tinker level 3 is just for some extra endgame goodies. So you see here 100, 200, 300, but it requires 19, 23, and a whopping 29 intelligence. That's a tough ask. 23 is easily doable, especially as a Truekin. A little harder for a mutant, although you can easily get the points up if you're a Tinker. But yeah, 29 is a little rough. We'll get there in this character, although we're at 18, we need 9. We collect a few on level ups. We'll work it out. If we don't get there, fine. But I don't see a need to immediately jump up one of my attributes. So that does mean, what do I want to get? I could get the start of tinkering so I can identify things better, because I did break an item when I tried to inspect it. And if we start going down the tinkering path, we won't do that as much. Another thing we can do is actually look at our skills. Bow and rifle, I can usually say, really, you only need the first set of skills. You're pretty much good the rest of the way. Pistol skills are really good. But for bow and rifle, this is about all you need to do to start off with. Getting the others are fun, don't get me wrong, and feel free to do so. But I don't feel like I need to actually invest any more in that for a long time. Another thing that can help really up your damage is going either single weapon fighting or multi weapon fighting. Um, Basic rule of thumb, if you can swing with 4 melee weapons, multi weapon fighting is really cool. And even as a Truekin, there are ways to quote unquote get extra arms. I won't spoil how you get those. For mutants, it's a little more straightforward. They actually have a mutation called multiple arms. So there are other ways they can get it too. But that's like the most slam dunk way. Oh, you got 4 arms, you're going to hold 4 weapons, you're going to swing for the fences, get multi-weapon fighting. For a Truekin, I'd say a good chunk of the time, because it's so hard to actually get the extra hands for a good long time in the game, single weapon fighting, which used to not be a skill, is ridiculously good. In fact, to the point where even if you had like one spare extra limb somehow, maybe some bionic limb attached to your back or something else, single weapon fighting will actually carry you really well. You'll notice here for like this opportunity attacks. Basically, if I score a crit, I get to swing again, and that's really, or yeah, crit. The cooldowns of up to 2 random weapon or shield skills are immediately refreshed. So like my shield slam or other things that I'm gonna get. That's really good. And then the first one, the thing I was thinking about, was weapon expertise actually, which is you get to potentially swing again every time you basically make a swing. That's super good. And there's an even better one where it just happens. So basically you always do double strikes. It does require a lot of agility or strength and all the other skills, kind of the other extra skill going up to it, but it's so good. Especially when you combine it, because that's not even the weapon skill. So it's a supplementary fighting style that you can get. So you can pivot into those early. Very good if you're needing to go multi-weapon fighting and you immediately already have the extra arms to swing with, because you already bump up your like 15% chance to attack with an extra limb up to 35 immediately, plus a guaranteed use of all those limbs and all those weapons, because when you get the category, not only do you get that extra chance, you also get this ability Flurry. Yes, it's a cooldown item, but still, being able to guarantee at least get a swing off with every limb that you have, that's a big deal, and can really make a character early game. That charge is really good, and we are pretty melee oriented. We could get some more shield skills too eventually down the line if we keep saving up and we get enough agility. The deft blocking is really good. It brings us up from 50% chance to do a block to 75, so 3 and 4 chance that we get to stack an extra 3 armor value to all the hits, the single hits that we take. Well, that's pretty good. So do we save? Maybe. Long blade. That's another thing too. Lunge and swipe and dueling stance, all of these are really important to long blade for various reasons. They give you access to different abilities. These stances, which I didn't really cover that much, so we have defensive stance and aggressive stance here. It does not take any time to switch. It's basically switching into another fighting style, basically. And things change. Right now, the reason our dodge value is so high is that defensive stance gives us an extra 2 dodge value right off the bat, so long as we hold a sword in our main hand. A long sword in our main hand, I should say. Aggressive stance gives you more penetration value, which is good against armored targets, but it comes at the risk of not being able to hit the target. So we have to weigh those options very carefully. Um, Dueling, which is intelligence based, which is interesting, basically gives you some unique options. And the other abilities in the sword tree, this lunge and swipe, they also change. So you're a stance-based character basically if you know your fighting games. And your lunges and swipes do different things too. You'll actually see here aggressive stance it does one thing, defensive stance it does another. Same thing with dueling stance it does something else. And that swipe with the dueling stance is one of the most really well-powered abilities in the game because a swipe with dueling stance has a chance to disarm, which means it will knock a weapon out from it. And the implications of that are huge. So anything that is gear oriented, right, to do its damage, let's say they're like a technological soldier and they have some crazy, ridiculous cyber sword. Well, if you happen to get your disarm hit off, boom, it's gone. And they won't be able to pick it up for the fight. Turrets, you can lop off the weapon itself and get a free weapon, whether to sell, to turn into parts, whatever. Swipe is super good. So, these improved stances, I don't think they're necessarily worth the points. And on guard, having no cooldown for those, let's say you had to urgently get out the swipes, it's nice. I don't usually see the stats getting to that level to actually use it, but hey, if you have the stats and you have the points, go for it. Alright, sorry to pontificate for so long, but I think those are some important things, especially for an early game explanation run here. We're going to tank some hits here. We did get shot for 3, so our acrobatics only works so well. Thank you, Bat. You're actually my best friend. So we're going to heal, and we continue. We'll close the distance, we'll kill it. We didn't even take any damage, we're good. Now, these things are actually surprisingly damaging, and they come in packs often. Be careful with the giant centipedes. Make sure you're in little halls like this one. Channel them down. Basic roguelike, methodology. Swing, swing. They can actually induce bleeding, which means that you'll take damage over time, and that's rough on you. Thankfully, we only took 1 damage here. Let's see what else is around. Hopefully not more. Usually when you can see 1 centipede, there are more. And we do see our first little scavengers, the snapjaws. Those are the little kobolds. If you bear with me just one moment, I do need to get some something to drink real quick. I have it nearby. Be right back. All right. Now, it does say that they're a swarmer, and yes, they do get bonuses if they're close. And if you're swarmed by a lot of them, that penetration addition gets insane fast. You never want to be mobbed by those. So if you see these, well, eventually, like we start to see these, you'll just mow them over. But still, sometimes they might be carrying a grenade. Some of them might have ranged weapons. So never, I don't say never, but be very cautious. Life is very fleeting in Caves of Qud. So just going back costs you nothing. And heck, the bat is even going after them. Oh, and the reason we didn't want to take that fight, even if we could have taken those 2 snapjaws really quick, this little glow moth here basically fires lasers. And this thing is a pain, especially if you're above ground, because it flies. And if it's flying, you can't swing at it with a weapon, which means you either have a ranged weapon or you're going to get hurt a lot. It's just going to rain down shots. By the same token, you can do the same to mobs if you have wings. But in the underground, things can't fly high enough to get away from melee. That said, this thing can blast us down from range when we don't have any good methods to close. So we have to use both its aggro plus using like corners to basically encourage it to come closer to us so we can ambush it and kill it. So now we see it's gone away. Maybe it's going to take out the bat. Maybe it's coming towards me. What I want to do after seeing that is back up a little more. Sure enough, a Snapjaw is coming down for two reasons. One, I can shoot. Boom. But the other, that glow moth might be coming in. It's not. It sounds like it's fighting something else. And you can see like the remnants, like something just got horribly impaled by something. There is some nasty stalactite sort of things that are hidden that will stab you. They're really nasty. Oh, and my kitty wants to say hi. Hello. Do you want your dinner? It is 5. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we now see a seed spitter shooting in the distance. Another Snapjaw. We'll shoot it for good measure. We completely missed, but we got it that time. But I'm really worried about that glow moth. Where did it go? Okay, now it's silent, so now we can proceed forward a little bit. Just a giant centipede corpse. Oh, more Snapjaws, but I don't see the glow moth. That's the thing I'm worried about. So I'm just gonna stand here and smack it. Sure enough, one hit kills it. Snapjaw, the basic Snapjaws, again, as swarmers, aren't bad, but they are bad if you let them surround you. At most, at the moment where I'm sitting, only 2 can be next to me, and even then, one of them is in a combat space with the plant, and they'd have to go through it. So it's practically a spoken for space. Here they come. I'm gonna kill that. That other combat's going on up there. I don't know what's going on. Okay, we're gonna creep forward. Let's see what we have here. Furs, again, that's armor, but we will pick up the iron mace. We'll sell that later. All right, let's go down. So we see a seed spitter. We can actually shoot it back. Not too shabby. Especially when we have straight shots. I don't know if there actually is some math to it or some uniqueness to the system. Maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like straight-on shots just work better in this game than angled shots. So take that for what you will. Creep forward. Okay, that's a cannibal. That's fine. I don't really care about the cannibal. Just care about that glow moth. There's the glow moth. All right. It's dealing with the bat. That's fine too. I'm gonna back up a bit. Come here, cannibal. Ooh, killed in 1. Oh, and there it is. Ow. See, it shot me for 4, 5. That hurts a lot. I'm trying to get back and around, so it has to come at me close range. That hurt a lot. So even with my high dodge value, even with my acrobatics, that thing still blasted me. I think it does basically a measure of light manipulation mutation, which you can get too as a mutant, and it pretty much guarantees hits. So, waiting some more. Well, at least this is letting us heal. Now I just saw that seed spitter shoot, so maybe it might be shooting at the glow moth. Oh nope, we got hit. So it actually hit right around the corner. So because we got shot, it does suck that we got hit for 6 a lot. But that means we need a charge. Sure enough, it's right here, and it shot us again, but now we kind of took the brunt of it. I'm going to slam it. Oof, we hit below 60. So what I'm going to do is quickly go over here. We are a Truekin because we have the salves. We can also Witchwood Bark. It has a chance for confusion, but things are where they are when you Witchwood. So what we can do is eat this. It'll heal us. So whenever it says that you eat your whatever, if it doesn't say Witchwood, it means that you're now confused. You'll see everything is a jumble. Our health dropped again below 60 because now we are going to be ticking healing over time. Now everything looks all jumbled. And even if the glow moth looks here, it could look like 3 spaces away or whatever. Keep swinging in the place that you know where the mob is. This is why going into a corridor helps. Cool. The dies, and we got a whole bunch of XP for it. That's what we wanted to see. Now, I remember the territory a little bit, so I'm going to move off to the back, and I'm going to go around that little corner, and then I'm going to wait this confusion out. It should only last for a few more turns until everything normalizes. Boom. Everything's now normal again. So what I also did there, because I knew I was in this corner, I backed up a few spots. That way, things did not have a line of sight on me. So even if there are a couple stray mobs left, they weren't going to come to me in confusion. I wasn't going to swing at nothing. Also, you have to be very careful. If those bats came in, I could have swung at them and then pissed off all the bats on the map. So I'm going to rest, and we'll explore. We see this guy. That shot didn't go well. I shouldn't bother. Oh, I took the wrong angle. This is the angle I wanted. There we go. That's way too many. And there it is, one of those young ivories things that can impale you. I'm just gonna not waste ammo, kill that. There's the seed spitter there. I'll tackle it by going down, try to play the angle. There's another angle down that's closer, so I'm gonna go up and around. Might be even more dangerous because I have to kill more things. Oh, statues. Weird. Huh. And some trees? Oof. Screw you. Cannibals only tend to have clubs. Sometimes they have a little trinket on them, but you'll automatically pick that up. They're just not worth even bothering to pick up those heavy clubs. So there's a hookah. Wait. Ant? Oh, it's a pariah! Okay, so sometimes you can find enemies, but they're not enemies. They're actually enemies to their own people. And they're a faction into themselves, or unto themselves. Let me move down here. I wonder if the actual pariah itself, it looks like, yeah, I think it might have died. Bronze two-handed sword. Let's go down. Yep, and by working the angle here, and my acrobatics was able to dodge. Perfect. So that's a two-handed. I'm not going to bother picking it up for the weight. Armor. Sometimes one weight stuff can be good. Usually it's like the robes, and particularly if they're like dyed or something. No, that's not good either. Oh snap! What the hell? What set off acid? You know, things happen in this place. I guess the worker ants does have formic acid, but I didn't think it would do this. So what we're gonna do, because it's not angry at us, it got probably pissed off at the bat. So we're gonna go up before it, you can see it's melting the the rock. So we have to get out of there before it hurts everything. Whew. Okay. You cannot take this place for granted. We killed all the actual hostile stuff, and it was still angry. Oh. I love that this game can hurt itself. That centipede just smashed itself into that young ivory spike. So now it's bleeding, it's hurt, and I killed it easy. Of course, we can impale ourselves pretty darn easily too. So now we're gonna just go down to the downstairs. Let's keep going. All right. Now I see those wood emplacements there. That tells me there's a fort. So let's do our search to start. Okay, says that there's a giant centipede, even though we couldn't innately see it. Our intelligence helps us here, and sometimes we can actually make out the sounds, not just our actual ears, but in-game too. So thankfully it stopped our auto-explore because it knew that there was a giant centipede somewhere around there. There it is. Now I'm going to back up. It's going to get banged up by the bat a little bit, and then I'm going to get into an area where I can only be flanked by one way. And there we go. And the bat actually leveled up. Oh wait, no, did we? Oh no, we did. That's right, we didn't get a menu message. Okay, we're now at 200, so we could go single weapon fighting, which is nice. We still can get... Maybe I do take that intelligence. So maybe I will be going tinkering. So yeah, I will push this. And now that I can get these, I'm going to get the salt dunes and jungles just out of the way. They're not immediately useful, but that's still fine. I am going to get the initial tinkerings too, because part of what I want to do, not only identify the tinker stuff, is also to get the scavengers so we can get bits for free by looking through the trash, and disassemble so we can take apart stuff and not have to carry a bunch of weight. So I do want to start that now. I'm just kind of double checking my fighting stuff. I could get the single weapon fighting. That is really good, though. I don't have a lot of triggerable skills yet. I could shore that up. I don't really want to. I could get the charge as well, but that's also not as good on long swords. It's even better on axes and stuff. I'm gonna get the tinkering. I'm just gonna do it. I just like tinkering so much. Even if I'm not gonna readily use it all that much at the start here. We'll charge this one, kill it. Thankfully, we've mitigated our stuff rusting, but it's not perfect. We're gonna shoot. Alright, it's so small that it's gonna... Boop! Smack it their shield, and it's dead. Die, spider. Okay, good. There's no grenade. Kill that. Ah, see, like black ropes. I don't mind picking those. Sometimes they're usually worth a decent amount of money. Okay, there's another. Let's kill that. I want to back up. I want to see what that corpse is. It's just a bat. Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't a snapjaw with potentially lootable stuff. Like this, another Desert Chris. We can sell that for money, and it's light. Ah, see? And here's one of those snapjaws with a weapon. They'll be red, so they're nice and angry. Let's see if we can get the shot that they missed. That did not kill. So we're going to reload. We're going to slip behind. So we're going to have to force them to come around. Sure enough, there they go. And then we'll just shoot them rather than them shooting us. Oof! There's another one, but we dodged that. I'll shoot them too. Maybe I should get charge. But we were 1 point short anyway. Ah! Now, color is important in this game. Know your colors. So Snapjaws. Yellow is way tougher. They're a bully. Blue is a warlord, so they might be better geared, and they're an alpha, as you can see here. So they grant extra bonuses to other of its kind around it. Pink is legendary. They might have special powers and mutations, and they could be a hell of a fight. If you're fighting a rainbow, you're usually in trouble. What I'm gonna do is flip around this way, kill some time. That's actually a three-way dance at that junction. Where are you? Okay, I think I've lured him out, so it's only gonna be one. I'm gonna use the corner. Okay, good. I did get a shot off. Got another. Shield slam. Knocked him prone and killed him. Perfect. Yeah, see, this one's better equipped. It actually had armor value with the leather armor, and then a bronze mace. The leather armor is really good. No dodge value penalty for 2 armor. Really good on a lot of characters if you don't get started with that chainmail, or it's too heavy for you to use. I'm gonna auto-explore again. I heard another snapjaw. Up, there's a cannibal. I'll let it come to me. Oh, it wanted at the bat. Alright, there's another one. Kill it. And another one. I'm gonna move back here and actually... Okay, good. The one tricky thing about making campfires for food is that if one exists on the map, you're forced to go to it or cancel it. You'd have to destroy the campfire for it to allow you to make another campfire on the map. I have no idea why that is. Spare water skin is actually useful to hold liquids. Sometimes you'll find liquids out in the wild but not have a spare water skin. I always like to have like 4 empty water skins on hand. Even though that's 4 weight, it's still useful. But the clubs, 10 pounds for 2 clubs, no thank you. And they're not made out of metal. Again, because they're just chunks of stone or wood, clubs are never worth it. Unless they're like, whoa, that wigged out the auto explorer. Okay, that was a little overkill, but I hate spiders. Alright, so we have another warlord. And it's disappeared into the ether. Can it go up? I don't think it can. I think that was just a window. So it sees us. Now it's trying to find a path to us. Wonder if there's one around or it's going to go up and around. Alright. If you see some off-colored areas, those are graffiti. You can always look at them. You kill, yes, I see. Sometimes it's just Markov stuff. Sometimes, rare times, there could be lore and stuff on them, but I really wouldn't care. Like, it's not worth the time to look at every bit of graffiti in this game. Alright, goo. Shoot. Shoot. Hit. The slimes still hit for a lot, so Warren Burnous. I think because we're a Praetorian, we actually have this rare one where it gives us 2 dodge value. That's also why our dodge value is so high. This class is ridiculous in the way it's geared out. All right, so this is interesting. I think that Snapjaw is running around trying to come back at me. But what we can do is hold down control, and we can actually break stuff too. So it's an arrow slit. I don't think it's that powerful, I think. Yeah, see, lightly damaged, then badly damaged, then broken. Let me check in here again. It's probably going to be a while for that Warlord to actually run all the way around to find me. It'll get there, but it's going to take a while. So what we can do is just charge our way up before it can get here and cause some havoc. Ah, and there is the path down on top of it all. We see a bunch of trash, which you could loot eventually. Ah, and there's a Snapjaw at the forge. Oof, missed. Gone. There's another. So if that Warlord were around these little guys, that would be actually a problem for us. Now, that little dread root to the bottom actually scared us away. But if we force attack, we can kill it. Sometimes they'll drop tubers for us. Let's see here. Cloth robe, not worth it. Quilted, we can sell it. Never want to wear it. Iron battle axe is good. We'll just get the hand axe anyway, too. Get weapons out of the circulation. Alright, there's an equipment rack, and there is a bear. Alright. Go ahead and come down. Now we're at a straight shot. Shoot you. Twice. Wait. Shield smack. Hit. Alright, lost 2 HP, but that's not that bad for 2 shots and stuff. Bears are obviously a lot more sturdy. You need to be careful. What was here? What killed it? Huh. Let's see here. Leather whip. So these have modifiers. That's nice. Alright. And here, steel utility knife. That's good. We're not going to get the armor. And because we're in this little sconce here, I'm going to actually heal my 2 hit points. Then hit auto explore again. This has a bunch of junk. That's where disassemble comes in handy. We have a weird artifact. That might be a grenade. Hand max. Short bow. We can, if we run out of bullets, we'll be able to swap to arrows and still use our skills. Where did that Warlord go? No? We were bleeding. Fine. Huh. Obviously the Warlord is somewhere, but I think we're just missing each other. So we're going to hit down to go down, and we're just not going to bother. Just going to keep going. Alright. So if you see this message as you go down Red Rock, and it will be 4 strata deep, that means there is going to be an enemy for you to kill. So be very careful. They can actually pack quite a punch. Sometimes you'll want to do basically the stairs stance and lead stuff up the stairs to kill. Sure enough, like looking here, this one is actually neutral to us. That's fine. We're not going to fight this thing. But these Gershlings, these are a problem. And having 3 of them, extra problem. Taking on 3 of these at once is very nasty for us. So what we're going to do, because it did swing at us, we're going to go back up the stairs and back up away from that dread root. And notice here that the Gershling did go up the stairs. So if something has aggroed on you, it will often try to follow you up the stairs if it has some sort of immediate adjacency. Sometimes things will actually take a little longer and still go up the stairs, but that's on occasion. You'll eventually figure out when they do and when they don't. And I still like to back up a little more. Sure enough, nothing else is coming up, and we're going to engage this one-on-one. We're going to shield slam, and then hit, badly wounded, dead. We didn't even take any damage, but another one came up. So the moment we got close to those stairs, sure enough, another one came out. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to retreat 1, because I don't think it's so fast. It's so quick that it's going to get a spare move on us. It doesn't, but it did move in step with us because it has the same amount of quickness points, yeah. And now we're gonna swing. Ooh, got a crit. That's good. Oh no, I got the crit. I began bleeding. Whoops. And that is why. Bleeds do stack. That means you could lose a lot of health really fast. Ow, this hurts. And they're fine. I can take another hit. 19. If I lose a little more, I'm gonna actually hit a salve. I don't want to. Okay, we killed it. So I'm not going to go back to that staircase, obviously, and I'm going to just try to heal up. There we go. Now we're all good to go again. Fresh. Hello, anything else? No, we killed 2. There's a 3rd. And it looks like that little guy actually aggroed on this tougher one. And they killed it. It's almost a little sad. You kind of almost wish it killed this guy. Mostly because notice it has a carbide dagger. That's the level above steel. And it has rank fangs, which are a face item slot, but you can actually bite and hurt stuff and sometimes even rust equipment, which kind of sucks, honestly, because you might actually end up breaking a piece of equipment you want. But and technically, you could still attack it, unless it's a legendary. It won't affect the faction. It will just affect anything else on the map. And I'm pretty sure that is the only Gyre White on this map. But we're not going to chance it. Also, I don't know if that beetle's angry to us. No, it's not. It's just going to eat gear on the ground. Alright. Now, we finish this off. Let me just shoot that guy real quick. Now, technically, for our quest, all we need to do is grab that Gershling. Here's one. It's 20 pounds, so keep that in mind. But we have room. And now we've completed that part of the quest, and then we just need to get it home. But, and this is kind of why I led everything up to this point, it's going to be hard. It's going to be potentially deadly, and you may need to just run away back home. If you're brave enough, risk and reward. There is a guaranteed spawn of a miner's helmet, which gives you 1 armor for a headpiece, which is good. Plus, it's a light source. So my character does not need this, but many characters do. Many times you will not start with night vision. And if that's the case, and you want to free up that hand slot, you want that miner's helmet really quick. Because it takes a while before you get a floating glow sphere up here, or some other way to be able to impart light. So, if you're brave, remember this world is huge, and it's interconnected. So, if we actually follow this waterway south, we actually hit Joppa. And in between, there is a body. Much like the fallen apprentice for the Wire quest, someone did try to brave once upon a time, trying to find out what was destroying all of the crops. So, if you find them, you'll be able to find out more about what the heck is going on. There is an alternate way to kind of learn about all of this and like kind of how, point A to point B, happened. Damn, that sucks. Actually, that hurt a lot, and I'm still bleeding. I should have put on a bandage right away. Mark target, and we are going to shoot. I got 1 hit off. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So it broke the line of sight, but we got some good shots on it, so it's just wounded. We got a shield slam. Oh, cool. 1 good hit and knocked it down. It is gone. We don't need any more corpses than the 1. It is actually worth, surprising amount of money for a corpse, but not nearly enough to make up for it. So going through all this, what I've never actually showed is that even underground, these maps can be interconnected. Not always, but a lot of them are. And with this waterway, it keeps going. Now, we hit stone here, but if you look at the way the wall is structured, just to the south, the shale, we could actually smash through it. But what this leads me to believe by seeing these types of outlines is that if we go back up, let's see here. Oh yeah, there we go, double tap. If we go further down this waterway, instead of that little sconce like we see like right up here, oh, apparently there is one at the border as well. I will shoot you. I'm gonna see if anything else actually tries to come up. Nope. There is stuff pretty darn close by in all of these. Be very careful. Remember I said that things are really dangerous? Sometimes you run into situations like this. And then you actually have to ask yourself a number of things. Can I actually take this? What is the worst thing that could happen? And since this is permadeath, well, technically it's save scum, but I'm not doing that. Is it worth it? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, if we actually hold Alt, there we go. Let's look at all the red ones. The ones in green are friendlies, or at least neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 known enemies. 2 of them glow moths, which almost shot me to death anyway before. And only 2 neutrals. No. There are also times where, even if you know that there is a goal at the end, it may not be worth it. This is one of them. We will escape. Something will come with us. We'll shoot it and just go home. Oh, shoot. So there's the glow moth. I will slam that down, kill it. Good. Now, one thing to be said with this, because we did that mini aggro and then we're leading stuff back, we could actually try to thin the ranks bit by bit. But as you saw down there, there's so much open space that we run the risk by going down one step. We actually might be overwhelmed right from the very first step down before we can go back up. So we just need to keep that in mind. I'm going to shoot the Swarmer first. Oop, that did not work. So try to kill. You can see it's already getting really bad. I'm taking on bad fights right now, and now there's 3. Alright, I can't run because I'm in the middle of water, but I do have the swimming skill, so call that from before. And it's giving me enough space to actually even get a little bit of a lead on these folks. Now, I could do a couple of things. I want to get to land, because that will actually let me swing more effectively. And I want them in a choke point. I'm going to still swim. I'm going to shoot that, and now I've gotten myself a choke point. Whew. So now I can let these come in. Got another level. That's fantastic. And now that I've hit level 6, I've now gotten 1 to every skill point here. That's fantastic. I really could have waited on that intelligence, but that's okay. 175 can get us something. And actually, so it can refresh our shield? Let me think here. Ooh, shield, our chance to block with a shield goes to 75%, but oh, we're 25 short. Darn it. We could get single weapon. Or save. That's basically what it comes down to when I see these options. I could do the tinkering thing. I do not need that right now. I just need something that helps me now. Technically, the thing that would help me now is technically the opportune attacks, right? Alright. Let's just grab it. We'll need it at some point anyway. I don't know where I could get it reliably. We get that. And we continue. We'll back up to actually charge a little bit more. And we'll attack. Cool. Okay, we do hear some mobs affected by Dreadroot. That's good. We're healing up, and another one made it to us, and we killed it. I want to take a peek. There's another one. Let's grab the Iron Dagger. Technically, we could throw it if we wanted to. I'm actually peeking myself out here so I can actually try to encourage it to come along. It also has sight ranges too, and not always the same. Sometimes better. Alright, I think we nailed them all. I didn't actually count. So, the smart thing is to retreat. Let me kill these Dreadroots. So actually, now that I look at this area, let me kill the Dreadroots first. This is a perfect choke point here, even though I just tracked a whole bunch of water. It's still solid ground. Let me just double check my back isn't completely exposed. There isn't some weird little mob that'll get me. Shoot the plant. Shoot the plant. So I don't rust my equipment. Alright, I think we're pretty safe here. There is another mob still here, though. I hear Dreadroot triggering. Huh. Alright, well, regardless, it is nowhere near. So, I don't think it would impact any fights. And because I have swimming. Oh, there it is. It's up in dead center. Whatever. And the water's dried off. That's good. I'm gonna swim down, and I'm gonna chance it. So it tried to shoot. That sucks. And I'm gonna shoot that. Gonna shoot at that again. Alright. It tried zapping. Ooh. I'm taking a real chance just standing my ground here. Oh, I don't have a line of sight to it now, too. Alright. Let's, Okay, so it shot the buddy there. That's good. We're gonna mark it again and fire. Good, we killed it. But we did take a lot of damage, so I am gonna retreat. That was 2 of 2 known glow moths. Now I'm feeling a little more bullish. Because it looks like there was just a knockdown drag-out fight and the neutrals killed each other. I have no more ammo for my rifle. Good to know now, and I got real lucky. I'm gonna switch to my bow. I hit reload, so I actually load it with the wooden arrow that I have. How many do I have? 7. So I actually don't have much range options left. Need to keep that in mind. So I'm hoping I can... Okay, so what we get here? We got a weird artifact and some honey. That's actually really good for many reasons. Snapjaw Corpse has nothing. Nothing. Club. That won't be anything good. And keep hanging around down here first. See what's here. Aha. There we go. Hello, Mr. Bear. Or Ms. I don't know. Arrow, arrow, arrow. Barely got anything done. Shield slam. Hit. Try to kill the... damn it. Got cracked. So when your equipment gets cracked, it's temporary, but it does lower your armor value. And that's actually very deadly, especially in situations like this. Just another little... A little. There we go. What a pest. I'm gonna make camp. And sometimes when you just even do random cooking, you can actually get some extra benefits too. So that's nice. Okay. So there are more explosions happening over there. I don't know why that is. Oh no, I know what that look is. That's a nest. That means these little stupid centipedes are going to keep growing until that thing dies. So there's a spawner, basically. I'm gonna just slip down here. I'm hoping what I'm looking for isn't to the west of here. Okay, good. I was able to kill it in one shot. That's nice without it trying to get me. There's a chest there, but that's not actually the chest I'm looking for. It's not even a chest that I'm looking for, to be perfectly frank. So these chests are actually the Snapjaws. So there's some history going on with these folks. And it looks like a little invasion of bugs and other things happened to them. Maybe because they actually took up shop down here. Looks like they killed a slime as well. Multiple of them. So yeah, no, they're all fighting each other. I love this stuff. We can just reap the rewards. Okay, let's take a look. Strange tubes, more artifacts, and nuggets. Nuggets are basically, think of them as condensed cash. Metals and gems have a fixed trade value. Super good, especially if you're running low ego builds and getting hosed. I wonder if I lock in. It's a long shot, but nope. Oh, from downtown. Okay, that was nice. I want to try to shorten up the time I am in the water. There is a ranged person. Ow. So, in addition to the ranged folks, you also might run into shotgunners. So, thankfully, it only hit me with 1 pellet for 2, but that means I immediately need to go back. I need a cut line of sight. This is about the best I can do. It might try to angle me and go up and above, but at least I have some partial cover in this little L bend. And it doesn't want to bite. Expected this might happen. So do we peek again? Well, we're gonna heal. Oh, there it is. That just took a little while because it needed to swim. Oof, little jump scare. All right, we killed it, and we're gonna get a shotgun potentially. And now there's another centipede. We'll just let it come. Go in the water. Take longer to get to us. We're in a more advantageous space, and I think it did the trick, right? So we got the artifact. Let's grab the metal items. There's still more to plunder. Let's just check out what we got at the moment. So because I did get the tinkering skill, I run less of a chance of breaking these things. So let me check this out. Metal folding chair. How much do I have? 75. I need 100 so I can disassemble this stuff. I really want the weight off. And when you disassemble stuff into bits, it becomes a lot better for you. Let's. Ooh, sun veil with filters. That means if I get attacked with gases and stuff like that, this thing will help. And it's 1 extra dodge value. We'll just put it on. We have the freedom for this. Wet pump shotgun. So if we have 4 shotgun shells, we could use it. Time dilation. Freezing club. So if we went, so the interesting thing with these guys is that it'll do elemental damage. And if we had reverse engineering, we have a chance when disassembling this stuff of learning how to make these things with the modifiers too, without getting the blueprints to do so. But why I always check for these types of items to see if they have any energy cells. So we remove them, and sure enough, we can check them out, and it's a chem cell. So it has a little bit of power left. That's good. I don't think we can... Yeah, it's broken, so we can't identify at this point. We'll work on that later. Alright, I'm going to manually open this stuff. Okay, and now I'm going to manually inspect the corpses. Quilted shawl. We can wash our stuff, too, in the water. We'll get the iron item. Really don't need these shawls, but I do it because it has nice and colorful. Those are sometimes they're worth a little bit. I don't think they're quite worth the weight, I think, but I'll just pick it up anyway, because we're getting close to the end of our adventure. Well, immediate adventure, I should say. Ash-stained robes, so yeah, sooty robes. All those have amazing trade value. I guess it has to do with just being, like, colored fabrics. Lacquered is good, because then those don't rust. And modifiers add value to an item. Alright, where am I going? Going this way. Iron longsword. We loot. Club. Bronze. A masterwork short bow. That means it crits more. And that means I want to use that instead. Even if I'm going to get back to my gun pretty soon as I get bullets. And let me unload this because we're very low on ammo at the moment. Let's continue searching because we don't want to overshoot. And going down this path, we run the risk of overshooting the goal. We don't actually have to go like 10 screens down. It's only like 3 to 5 at most. Wood buckler. Actually using more shields. Bucklers are good because you can put them on your arm instead of a rare hand, one of the few hand slots that you have. But they're usually weaker in usage. Okay. Okay, we don't see any remains come up as a point of interest, so we need to go further. I suspect what we're looking for is just one more down, but again, every screen down, as you saw from before, we got really lucky that there were some neutrals and they shot each other, so they all fought each other. We're not always that lucky. Here we are again, and here's this other mess again. I think the worms and the snap jaws are fighting each other fine. I see those worms, so there are things called null worms. Those are pretty nasty as it is. They will crack your armor and cause you a great deal of hell. But what's worse is that there are these plated null worms. That means they have even higher armor value themselves. That means there's also some special snap jaws. This is rough. Now, I believe the ape is not on our side, but it will kill other things. It definitely doesn't like the other things. Also, another thing to note are these crabs. High armor value is also a problem for early game characters. If you're a mutant and you can fry things, that's fantastic. Or zap it with ice blasts or whatever, sure. Um, but as a character trying to use normal weapons, it can be very, very tough. So we were down there. Let's see if it's going to lure anything else. We were only down just briefly. I think we have to do this one more time for it to trigger. Yep. And now that things are aware of our existence, I'm going to back up, see what follows. It might be busy going after... Oh! Sure enough, I got cracked. Sure enough, there's a plated nullworm. Alright, I'm going to slam it. I'm going to try to fight this. I am going to try to fight this. I hope this isn't a mistake. So hit us. That sucks. We were able to penetrate, so that's good. I'm worried that I might have to move to aggressive stance on this guy. I missed, so that's not a missed penetration. Ah, that's the type of message we don't want to see. We couldn't penetrate the nullworm's armor because of the rule. It's gonna reduce our defensive capabilities, but I'm going... do I go aggressive? The problem is they cracked a piece of armor, so my armor value went down. But I also need to kill this thing. It's wounded, so I am gonna actually take that aggressive stance and swing. Alright, so it did go through... or no, I missed. Missed. I'm hoping so that when I get my hits... There we go. That's what we're looking for. Let's heal up. Because all that time passed, and I'm going to flip back to defensive stance, it takes me no time points. Maybe the battles have gone better for us. Yes and no. It looks like the Snapjaw's mostly won. There's a lot going on here to unpack. I should have waited a little longer for them to kill the worms, and I'm going to be carting some worms with me, it looks like. I'm going to back up. Okay, so they are starting to follow. They were a little slow to do so. Up, and I'm going to swim and then back. The reason I'm doing that is that now I'm going to put them in the water and put them at a disadvantage. It would not be a disadvantage for the crab. Ooh, that's good. Other level, now we're at 185. Now we can actually consider the stuff like the weapon expertise where we get extra swing. That's gigantic. Yeah, versus anything else we can get, like the extra block, I would much rather get extra swings. There we go. There we go. Alright. So that's good. That's really good. Alright, there's the Warlord. Unfortunately, I accidentally moved when I clicked. That's not good. And now it's on solid ground. I'm going to shield slam. Knocked it prone. Hit. Killed it. Good. Ah, there's something painted, so we're going to look at that. So we learned a new fact, which is going to be very useful for us. It does increase the value too, but not so much that I want to take it. Well, yeah, sure, we'll take it. What the heck. And let's take a peek. Yep, okay, there's a warrior. So I'm going to back up. It won't move any faster than me. So I'm buying myself some time. I'm getting on the same level. And I'm going to kite back. So I am winning out in just a little extra quickness here and there to buy myself an extra space. Not perfect, and these bows aren't doing a lot. Alright, but it did give me enough time for my shield slam to get off cooldown. So 3, boom, knocked it down to the ground. Let's go for the kill. Whew, good. So we got, ooh, a lacquered cap. That's huge, because I don't think we have head armor yet. We don't. We don't. So what's cracked? Is it my... okay, so that's not cracked anymore. My gloves? They're not. So we put on the cap. And we're at armor 5. Oh, and I'm overburdened. So, as we were saying before, hold on a sec. This compass bracelet, we'll put Oh, and now we know what the other one is. Okay, that's good. Freezing Iron, fine. Reaper, fine. We'll get rid of the shawls. The sandals don't matter either. They're not worth so much money that I can't ditch it for stuff. I do really need to ditch some of this other stuff as well, but I think we're good. Freezing Iron Reaper is an axe, so it's not a long sword, so that doesn't help. I would like an elemental weapon on me right now, but I can't, and I can't disassemble the shotgun. That shotgun may go, though. No, the short bows. The short bows are too much weight for this. And we're still carting around that corpse, so that's something else to keep in mind. Alright, let's continue. Did I search that? Okay, yeah, I did. In fact, I'm actually going to pick up that chest. The reason for that is it's very useful for organizational purposes. Alright, let's creep down. Who is left? So we have that beetle, which typically just eats stuff. Yeah. We have one worm left. Let's peek a little. There's another null worm left. Those are annoying, but not the plated kind. Well, that's actually really good. So I can spend a little time looking at these to see before that beetle eats everything. Witchwood Reef. Because we have harvesting, we can actually pick it apart to become healing stuff for us, and we'll get that steel warhammer. That little worm is coming at us, so I'm going to get back to land. Take a turn, kill it. Yep, there we go. So brackish water, and that ape died. Bless you. Ooh, salve, so that's free HP. It didn't use it. It should have. It probably didn't know what it was. Centipede, null worm, and now we're gonna go to land by the time that null worm gets to us. Trying to chase us out before it gets there. I failed. That's okay. I'm gonna back up one. Shoot. Oh, do I not have any more? Hello? My input's all gone. That's strange. Weird. I don't know what's going on. Alright. Shield slam. Didn't knock it down, but I killed it all the same. Good. Before I try to crack something else. There's a spitter, but there's some rocks over there. So if I cross up high... Oh, and there's a quillipede. That's actually very deadly. Where is that stupid corpse? Oh, another seed spitter. And so that crowd's gonna come. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm not gonna bother shooting at it. Arrows will be useless against that crab. Oh, it finally found me, even though it's eyeless. I'm gonna slam it. At least it got damage and it killed it. Good. Alright, I'm at a decent level now. Oh, the quillipede and the nullworm are fighting. I killed the darn plant. Because you are annoying. It looks like the other one got killed. I don't want to go over here, but I think I have to. And that quillipede, is it hurt? I think it might be cracked. And it seems... Why isn't my look working anymore? And my mouse input has gone haywire as well. So weird. I might actually have to call it here if my keyboard has gone on the fritz. See, so weird. I got that works. Now these work. Now this works. What's going on? So it's fine, but it is -2 armor value. And I have 3 until my shield slam. I gotta charge it. Shit. Shoot, I should say. And once again, my F and R key seems to be gone. And now my escape is gone too. Oh, and now it shot me a whole bunch. Is this gonna kill me? I gotta try. Alright, smacked it down. 22 is rough, but we can do this. But I cannot have this continuing. Alright. Let's heal up best we can. Ow! That's not what we want. Alright, we're back to full health. There's another little dude. We will kill you. So we have no more ammo, period. Alright. Let's search. Oh, it's not here, is it? Oh my gosh, we had to do one more screen. And I'm very, very worried. Alright, there is a water skin down there. Something died. Maybe something... Oh, empty. Fine. Let's go down one more. It should be the final one. And it's another stupid mess of a map. And the remains are there. The remains are there. You actually see... right there. That's what we need. Alright. Let's go one over so we get the map moving, and then we back up. And out. Fine, come after me. I will kill you. Come after me. I will kill you. I will shield slam you because you're real big nasty. Oh, you killed the bat, but you did work. And there's another crab that came in too. Fine. We got this. We can do this. Unless it gets lucky. I think we got this. I'm still on penetration or aggressive stance. No, I'm in defensive? Oh, I guess I am. Alright, we'll get the arrows. There's an engraving. So we look at it. And we get cool, more history. That will be a useful trade secret for later. We will grab the iron longsword. Man, I'm holding too much again. Let's look through what's not worth the wait. Honestly, it's pretty much the shotgun, but that could also be used for stuff. The tubers are not really worth a whole lot, as is... and a broken compass bracelet, I don't really care. I don't even want to spend the parts to fix it. So that's gone. We can keep the robes. So that's just 4 damage. Oh, man, that's not great. Still, we'll pour this so we can save some space a little bit. We might be able to get rid of some water skins. We can get rid of the canteen because we don't own it. So pour, yes. Pour in another container. Pour it into this. Drop. And we'll be able to drop the folding chair if we need to. Honey, I want it to auto-collect any, and I want my combustion cell to auto-collect oil. There we go. Now we're all set. Let's heal up. Sure enough, we're okay. There we go. Oh yeah, this place has gone a right mess, but they're all fighting each other. That's great. So we're just gonna cruise. We're gonna wait. Soon we'll be able to take it all. Oh, we had a little guy come after us. That's fine. Grab your gloves. Nothing else. We'll wait this out. The beetle bum can go and eat corpses for all I care. Let some more time pass. Play in a puddle. Go down a little more. So there is that bully. There's just a couple stray... Alright, I do have some bows, or arrows. I'm trying to shoot from the water. I get any damage? I did get a little damage. Not much. I'm gonna let you go up one more, and then I'm gonna go up. Shield slam, knocked him prone. Goodbye. Yeah. Kill that root. Alright. So my problem is, once I get to those bones, I'm gonna pick up stuff, but I might get overweight. We'll go... Oh, there is a legendary. What factions do you have? Being liked by oozes could be very, very good for me. Alright. I need that. Alright. How do I math this out? I need to get rid of his friends, because it's an alpha. I need to pick them. I can't... Man, I'm out of bullets. That's rough. It's going to attack that thing, so it's not going to get that banged up either. I have a shotgun. I have a shotgun, even though I was thinking getting rid of it to do the damage. Oh, and I do have some slugs left. So we're gonna load the shotgun, swap the rifle, and let's see if we can't go sniping. We're gonna mark that one and try to take it down. Can't reload, that's right. Normal ones will get regular swing. Ranged ones will get a shot. The problem is they're all coming. So I'll take aim at that one, it's closer. I'll take aim at the legendary. I will swap to the shotgun because they're getting closer to still. Can shield slam them. Wounded. Damn, bleeding. And I'm taking double. Shoot. This high should apply the salve. Badly wounded. We're gonna get this. Unless it has a mutation that'll get... Oh, I'm up to full. Alright. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay, the Snapjaws hate us. Wow, 205. We're in striking distance if we can just get a little more ooze red. And then birds. Okay, I am still bleeding, so I can immediately go over. Glad I bought those bandages. And I stopped bleeding. Thank heavens. Now I'm hungry. I do not care. I'm out of shotgun ammo, too. Oh, but it's out of arrows, I think. Fine, I'll go up to you. It's fine. Ooh, another engraving. That's awesome. Another potential relic to find. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm still carrying that stupid corpse. I can ditch some bronze stuff. Iron mace, iron. Oh yeah, club. Be careful not to burn too much time. Oh yeah, all the hand axes should go. Alright, yeah, no, things didn't go too far astray. There's like 1, 2 regular ones nearby. Just need to make sure there are no more. Sometimes there's more than one legendary. It happens. I think we're good. Go, and we get stuff. See? Miner's helmet. This trinket is really good. You just gotta be careful not to break it. As much as I'd like to inspect it right away. Can't. And, cybernetics credits wedge. But moreover, the sturdy pickaxe. I love the pickaxe in this game. Ooh, and there is this really strong guy. Well, not really, but fairly strong guy. He's a warrior. That means he'll have a weapon, maybe a shield. Let him get closer. Shield slam him. Knocked him prone. He did get my armor in the meantime, but I did get an advantage, and I did get to kill him. He has a sun and moon mask. I will still get it just because of looks. Alright, this one's fitted with filters. As cute as it is, I'm just gonna drop the sun and moon mask. It's not really worth a whole lot. It's just colorful. I didn't mean for it to get a free hit on me. Iron mace. I got the beaded bracelet, so that's more trade ammo. Oh, and I shed a lot of weight, so I can just pick up iron stuff again. Bat. Quittle Shaw. Bronze. No. Where else did a bunch of these folks die? Down here. Masterwork, but it's a short bow. Do not care. I really don't need to do this. I can immediately go, but you know me. Alright. Vinewood Sap Mask can help against gas attacks, but you have the thing with filters, which is better. Centipede. Oh, and this is a lot more than I bargained for, actually. Let me run back up. Alright, I'm out of shotgun ammo, so I'm just gonna... Ooh, they had to fight each other. That's great. Thank you, centipedes. Alright, engraving on the gloves. Reshef stuff is very important. And, oh gosh, that's before they threw that weird item, which could have been a grenade. Oh, Bloodstain Ring is good trade bait. Get that. Let this guy get close. It's also good to give us Baboon Rep when we go and get the rest of the wire. So this quest we can finish. Plus, what we're going to do, clean all of our items. Then we're going to put on that strange thing. Where are you? Alright, it's a trade item, so it's down here. The neck ring we're going to put around our arm. Gives us rep against baboons. And that's where we're going to go next, is potentially to an area with baboons. So we cleared all this stuff out. We do not need to go further. So the trick here is that this is actually connected to Joppa, but you'd have to go further down the waterway, then find all the different stairs back up, which means a lot more exploration. It is actually faster, even though time-wise it probably is technically longer, to go straight up, up. Let's make some food. Oh, yes, there's campfire remains. We'll light you. We'll get a small meal. Shift enter and up. Oh, I didn't need to go straight up. Usually it'll get me to the boundary, and then we can go up. So I'm not gonna. Ooh. Ow, 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 ow. Those young ivories really hurt. Alright, let's just get out of here. Up. 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 We are out of there. Down, down, Joppa. I think this is a good point to stop, but that's basically early game in a nutshell, and this is, again, with one of the strongest starts, too. Can you imagine trying to do any of this stuff when you have a more complex build? Try it. You know, this game is fantastic. I can't say enough how much I adore this game, and I appreciate for those of you who've watched along, seeing it in action. I'll probably post this to YouTube, and we'll go from there. If the sound hasn't been awful, I apologize if it has. It's been a long time since I've done this. Catch you folks later, and thank you so much.